Oh, hello there. You think you lead a strange life, do you? Stuck in your routines, glued to those glowing screens? Let me, Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile, assure you, you've seen nothing yet. Come, darling, journey with me back to ancient Egypt. We had gods with animal heads, pharaohs who thought they were gods, and customs that would make your hair curl. Cat shaving, that's the least of our worries. Fasten your seatbelts, dears. It's going to be a bumpy ride through history. Now let's talk about love, shall we? Or rather, avoiding it. Love in all its forms has been a central theme in human history, and ancient Egypt was no exception. The Egyptians were known for their passionate relationships, elaborate courtship rituals, and grand celebrations of love. But, as with any society, there were practical considerations that often tempered these romantic pursuits. In ancient Egypt, we were a passionate bunch, but even we had our limits. The joys of love and companionship were often balanced by the harsh realities of life. Raising a family, for instance, was no small feat. It required resources, time, and a great deal of effort. The ancient Egyptians, with their deep understanding of life cycles, knew this all too well. Children, after all, require a king's ransom to raise, even if you are married to the king. The royal families, with their vast wealth and resources, still face the challenges of parenthood. The common folk, on the other hand, had to be even more resourceful. They had to find ways to manage their families and ensure that they could provide for their children. So, what did we do? Faced with the prospect of having more children than they could care for, the ancient Egyptians turned to their environment for solutions. They observed the natural world and experimented with various methods to control fertility. Their ingenuity led them to some rather unconventional yet surprisingly effective solutions. Well, let's just say the Nile River provided more than just water. The river, which was the lifeblood of ancient Egypt, offered a wealth of resources. It was not only a source of sustenance, but also a source of inspiration for many of their innovations. The Egyptians' deep connection with the Nile influenced many aspects of their daily lives, including their approach to family planning. Crocodile dung, my dears, was the go-to contraceptive. Yes, you heard that right. The ancient Egyptians, in their quest to manage their families, discovered that crocodile dung had certain properties that made it an effective contraceptive. It might sound strange to us today, but for them, it was a practical solution to a pressing problem. Yes, you heard that right. The use of crocodile dung as a contraceptive might seem bizarre, but it was based on careful observation and experimentation. The Egyptians were keen observers of nature, and they often found inspiration in the most unexpected places. Their willingness to explore unconventional methods is a testament to their resourcefulness and ingenuity. Now, before you wrinkle your noses, our ancestors weren't completely daft. They understood that crocodile dung, well, it had a certain potency. The dung's alkaline nature played a crucial role in its effectiveness. The Egyptians, with their knowledge of natural substances, recognized this and used it to their advantage. They understood that crocodile dung, well, it had a certain potency. The alkaline properties of the dung created an environment that was not conducive to conception. This understanding of natural chemistry was quite advanced for their time and demonstrated their sophisticated approach to problem solving. Something about its alkaline nature, you see. The Egyptians' knowledge of natural substances and their properties was impressive. They were able to harness the power of these substances to create effective solutions for various challenges. Their use of crocodile dung as a contraceptive is just one example of their innovative spirit. The details are best left to the imagination, but let's just say it was surprisingly effective. The midwives, who were skilled practitioners of ancient medicine, played a crucial role in this process. They prepared the mixture with great care and ensured that it was applied correctly. Their expertise and knowledge were invaluable in making this method work. Midwives would mix the dung with honey and, apply it internally. The addition of honey not only helped to make the mixture more palatable, but also had its own beneficial properties. Honey was known for its antibacterial qualities, which likely contributed to the overall effectiveness of the concoction. Not the most glamorous concoction, I'll grant you, but desperate times called for desperate measures. The ancient Egyptians were pragmatic people. They understood that sometimes unconventional methods were necessary to achieve their goals. Their willingness to embrace these methods speaks to their resilience and adaptability. And who knows, perhaps it was the aroma that truly kept those eager suitors at bay. The pungent smell of the mixture might have served as an additional deterrent, ensuring that the suitors kept their distance. It's a humorous thought, but it also highlights the lengths to which the ancient Egyptians were willing to go to manage their families.
Indeed, Cleopatra. The legendary queen, known for her beauty and intelligence, was also aware of these methods. Her knowledge of ancient medicine and her ability to leverage it for her own purposes is well documented. Cleopatra's use of such methods is a testament to the enduring legacy of ancient Egyptian innovation. The use of crocodile dung as a contraceptive was documented on various papyrus scrolls. These scrolls, which have been preserved over millennia, provide valuable insights into the medical practices of ancient Egypt. They reveal a society that was deeply knowledgeable about natural substances and their properties. The mixture's alkaline properties likely played a role in its effectiveness, although it's hard to say for certain with modern science. While we may not fully understand the science behind it, the fact that it was used for centuries suggests that it had some degree of efficacy. The ancient Egyptians' ability to harness the power of natural substances is a testament to their ingenuity and resourcefulness.
Speaking of things best left buried, let's talk about sleep. We Egyptians were obsessed with the afterlife, and what better way to get a sneak peek than through dreams? But we didn't settle for just any old feather pillow. Oh no, we took our slumbers seriously. We slept on pillows made of stone. Comfortable, not a bit. Fashionable, debatable, effective, well...
These weren't just any stones, mind you. They were carved into the shape of heads and placed beneath the heads of the living while they slept. The belief was that these stone pillows would ward off evil spirits and bring good luck.
They were also thought to promote restful sleep and prevent nightmares. But the real kicker? Some Egyptians believed that by sleeping with the dead, they could communicate with them in their dreams. They saw dreams as a portal to the afterlife, a way to receive messages from loved ones who had passed on. Now, on to more glamorous matters. The ancient Egyptians were not just pioneers in architecture and writing, they were also ahead of their time when it came to beauty and grooming. Every woman knows the importance of good grooming, and in ancient Egypt, this was no different. In fact, grooming was elevated to an art form, a ritual that was deeply intertwined with their culture and religion. The ancient Egyptians took grooming to a whole new level. It wasn't just about looking good, it was about feeling good and honoring the gods. They believed that cleanliness and beauty were not just physical attributes, but spiritual ones as well. We weren't content with just plucking a stray hair here and there. Oh no, the ancient Egyptians had a meticulous grooming routine that involved various tools and techniques. They used tweezers made of metal, pumice stones for exfoliation, and even early forms of razors. Oh no, we went for the full monobrow removal, all in the name of religion, of course. The monobrow was seen as a sign of neglect, and removing it was a way to show respect to the gods and goddesses they worshipped.
You see, we worshipped a feline goddess named Bastet. Bastet was not just any goddess. She was the protector of women, children, and, oddly enough, cats. She was depicted as a lioness or as a woman with the head of a lioness, symbolizing her fierce yet nurturing nature. She was the protector of women, children, and oddly enough, cats. Cats were considered sacred animals in ancient Egypt, and harming one could result in severe punishment. Bastet was believed to bring joy and love into the household, and she was often invoked for protection and fertility. And how did we honor this magnificent creature? By shaving off our eyebrows, naturally. This act was more than just a beauty trend, it was a religious ritual. Shaving the eyebrows was a way to emulate Bastet's sleek feline beauty and to show devotion to her. By shaving off our eyebrows naturally, it was a sign of respect, a way of emulating her sleek feline beauty. The practice was so widespread that it became a standard of beauty in ancient Egypt. It was a sign of respect, a way of emulating her sleek feline beauty. Women would often shave their eyebrows completely and then use kohl to draw them back on, creating a dramatic and elegant look that was highly admired.
Of course, it didn't hurt that a smooth forehead was considered incredibly chic. In a society that valued beauty and cleanliness, having a smooth, hairless forehead was seen as the epitome of elegance and sophistication. Think of it as the ancient Egyptian equivalent of a bold lip or a smoky eye. Just as we use makeup today to enhance our features and make a statement, the ancient Egyptians used their grooming practices to express their identity and beliefs. It was a way to make a statement, to show the world that you were a devout follower of Bastet. The shaved eyebrows were not just a fashion statement, they were a symbol of piety and devotion. Plus, it saved a fortune on tweezers. The ancient Egyptians were nothing if not practical, and their grooming practices reflect a blend of practicality, spirituality, and a keen sense of aesthetics. Let's be honest, being pharaoh was a pretty sweet gig. You were worshipped as a god, you had palaces full of gold, and you could order anyone to do anything you wanted. The downside? Well, there was the whole dying thing. But even death couldn't stop a pharaoh from living the good life.
You see, we Egyptians believed that you needed servants in the afterlife, just like in the land of the living. And how do you get servants in the afterlife? You take them with you, of course. That's right. When a pharaoh died, his most loyal servants were often sacrificed and buried with him.
It sounds gruesome, I know, but it was considered a great honor. These servants were meant to accompany their pharaoh into the afterlife and continue to serve him for all eternity. Of course, one can't help but wonder if the servants themselves were quite as thrilled about this arrangement. Now, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, beer. Yes, you heard that right. Beer wasn't just a casual drink for the ancient Egyptians. It was a cornerstone of their society. From the bustling breweries to the grand festivals, beer was everywhere. We Egyptians loved our beer. It was more than just a beverage, it was a way of life. Beer was consumed daily by people of all classes, from the pharaohs to the common workers. It was a social glue that brought people together. We drank it for pleasure during our social gatherings and festivals. Imagine the lively scenes of ancient Egyptians celebrating with mugs of beer in hand, laughter echoing through the air. We used it in religious ceremonies, offering it to the gods as a sacred libation. Beer was believed to have divine properties, and it played a crucial role in our spiritual practices, and we even paid our workers with it. Yes, beer was a form of currency. Workers received daily rations of beer as part of their wages, ensuring they were well fed and content.
That's right, beer was our currency. Forget gold and silver, a cold one was the real treasure. It was a practical and beloved form of payment that kept the workforce motivated. Forget gold and silver, a cold one was the real treasure. The value of beer in our society cannot be overstated. It was a symbol of prosperity and well-being. The pyramids, those magnificent monuments to our ego, weren't built on blood and sweat alone. They were built on beer. The workers who toiled day and night to construct these wonders were fueled by this ancient brew. They were built on beer. Each worker received a daily ration of beer as part of their wages. This ensured they had the energy and motivation to continue their grueling work. Each worker received a daily ration of beer as part of their wages. This wasn't just a perk, it was a necessity. The beer provided much-needed calories and hydration.
It was a way to keep them happy, hydrated, sort of, and motivated. The beer acted as a morale booster, making the hard labor a bit more bearable. And let's be honest, who needs a paycheck when you can have a cold one after a long day of hauling giant stones? The sense of camaraderie and relaxation that came with sharing a beer was invaluable. Our beer wasn't quite like the stuff you drink today. It was thick, sweet, and probably a bit chunky. The brewing process was different, and the ingredients varied. It was thick, sweet, and probably a bit chunky. But it was nutritious and packed with calories, making it an essential part of the diet. But hey, it was alcoholic, and that's all that really mattered, wasn't it? The alcohol content made it a safer alternative to water, which was often contaminated. So next time you raise a glass, remember the ancient Egyptians who built an empire on beer. Their love for this ancient brew helped shape one of the greatest civilizations in history. And there you have it, just a taste of the bizarre and wonderful world of ancient Egypt. We were an odd bunch, weren't we? But that's what makes history so fascinating. It's a reminder that truth is often stranger than fiction.
And trust me, we've only just scratched the surface. There are plenty more strange and wonderful customs where those came from. So stay tuned, my dears, and prepare to be amazed.